I'm currently in the car on the way down to Aeros Coventry, where I'm going to have a meeting with them today to discuss starting my commercial pilot's licence. This is something I've been working towards for an awfully long time now. I've actually been learning to fly since age 15 and have self-funded all my flight training since that age. It took me 6 years to get my PPL. I've had my PPL now for 3 years and I'm ready to move on to the next stage. I'm on around 320-ish hours, so I'm a little bit over what you need to start the CPL. I spent the last couple of months since finishing my ATPL exams trying to decide where to go and take my flight training. I think it's very important to choose a school which has a really strong reputation like Aeros does, but also to go somewhere that can kind of work around you. At the moment I'm working a full-time job in sales and I've had to take my ATPL exams whilst maintaining a full-time job, and now I'm going to have to conduct the CPL, MEP and IR whilst working full-time, and that does really have its difficulties. I can't just go and do a 3 or 4 months full-time course because I'm not going to have the money to be able to get through it all. So I'm now training with Aeros and doing it on a rather ad hoc basis. And this is one of the things which really pulled me into Aeros, was the fact that I met them at Pilot Careers Live in London a couple of years ago, and they said, right Ben, if you come to us we will work around you. So they will let me come in early in the morning, they're going to stay late in the evening, so I can really get a lot of flying done. And I'm hoping to get the CPL done with around 4 or 5 hours of flight training per day, then the MEP over the course of a few days, and just set myself a goal of getting the multi-engine IR done in around 2 to 2 and a bit months. I don't really want to put a really tight deadline on this. Aeros Flight Training have a lot of bases. Their main base is at Coventry, which is where I'm going to be commuting to, so along with having a really good and strong reputation, also have a fleet of really modern new aircraft. So I'm going to be using initially a Piper Warrior for the CPL, that's around 10 hours. Then I'm going to go on to 15 hours on a Piper Arrow, and they have a beautiful one there called GTEBS. So Piper Arrow 3, it's got an Aspen cockpit inside, so it's sort of like a semi-digital cockpit, which I think is really going to help for doing the navigation side of things. Then after using the Arrow, I'm going to move on to the Diamond DA42, which is a multi-engine piston. Actually runs with 2 sort of diesel engines, and it runs on Jet A1 fuel. That's a really exciting aircraft to fly. I'm looking forward to flying that. Like I said, I've paid for my flying all by myself since age 15, so if I can do it, you can definitely do it too. So the aim of today is I'm heading down to Aeros Coventry to have a chat with them and just sort of start to book in all of my initial flight training.
Ben, welcome to Aeros.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to finally get down here.
Yeah, congratulations on your ATPL.
Cheers. It took me a bit longer than I hoped, but I finally got there in the end.
Yeah, well it's a big undertaking, isn't it? So Aeros was designed for the people who couldn't commit to a full-time course. It's sort of opened up the jobs market. Hopefully that was the hope 10 years ago when we set this up. And we work around the students' requirements. So if we train 7 days a week, so we have instructors 7 days a week, and we work around. We look for about a month's notice on bookings, so we can tailor the course to your needs. And for you, I believe it's Wednesdays and weekends, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'll be coming down on a rather ad hoc basis. So yeah, every Wednesday and then every other weekend as well. And then I'm aware that I need to probably consolidate a little bit on the multi-engine IR, so I'll be taking a couple of weeks off work towards the end.
That's it, just a couple of weeks of annual leave, just to consolidate everything just before you test and make sure that you get through in the first time.
And then the structure of the training.
How we do it is we do a 25-hour, full 25-hour CPL, which is 15 hours in the Warrior and then 10 hours in the Arrow. You can vary that if you want to do the whole 25 hours on the Arrow. Give yourself a bit more time in the Arrow to get used to it, we can do that. Then you go into the MEP. Multi-engine training is done on Diamond DA42s and AL42 all-sim simulators. We have an AL42 here in Coventry, one in Gloucester, and we've just placed an order for one in Doncaster.
And I managed to have a little look at the simulator when I visited sort of a year ago or so, and the AL42 is basically just like being the real aircraft, is it?
It's the exact same. Apart from the obvious, there are very few differences. It's designed to make the transition as simple as we can, which is 5.5 hours in the VA42, half an hour in the simulator to do the engine shutdowns, and it gives you a good introduction to the AL42. And then it's into, if you've completed the full 25-hour CPL, you get a 10-hour dispensation off your IR, so it's a 45-hour IR. And the split of that is determined by your experience.
So I'm in the position now, my ATPLs are done, I'm ready to get started towards my CPL. Is there anything I need to start to do in advance now or working towards? What should I be doing before turning up at Aeros?
Well, we will send you through some preparation notes, some reading notes, read the POHs of the aircraft that you're going to be flying, local procedures, obviously you need to learn the local procedures of the airfield, and just come in and get into your first briefing with your instructor. Well, thank you very much for choosing Aeros to deliver your commercial flight training.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get started and move into sort of a new direction of flying.
And here are your first epaulets.
Thank you very much. Exciting. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Ben.